Assalamu alaikum, my YouTube family. I hope you all are fine and enjoying good health. So, my today's video is basically on A levels English final paper 4, which is on question number 1 and 2. Basically, both the questions are same. So, we have our, student with us who is going to definitely be with us and asking questions, and I'm going to make you write this question's answer, then how we need to write this response. Okay, Mariam, I want you to please, pitch in between. Read the following text, which is an
Yes,
extract
sir.
from a blog on the website of SOAS, a college of the University of London. It was posted in 2017. Discuss what you feel are the most important issues. So, as you know, that in this paper, what we need to do basically, what are the questions basically in this paper?
We have to search for the main issues.
The main issues, right? So in this, paper 4, basically the most important issues are being asked. That whatever issues are discussed in the text, we are going to, discuss them, analyze. Sometimes they used, this word, word discuss. Sometimes the command words are always, changed. This time the command word is discuss. Discuss means that you have to discuss in detail. You're not going to analyze. All right. Analyzation means that you have to read, understand, analyze it in from the perspective of linguistically and literary devices. You need to embed, and you have to analyze it in a proper manner. Then we need to see the key point. Then the next key point is in the text relating to the ways in which language can shape and reflect society identity, social identity. So, what are the ways in which language can shape and reflect social identities? We are going to mark out those ways. All right, that these are the ways through which language can shape and reflect social identity. You should refer to specific details from the text. Definitely, we have to, remember that the examiner has given us the text, so we're going to remember that. And also, we have to, give examples from our wider study, okay, for language and the self. Now, I'm going already aware that it's the strand. Which strand are we working on? It's a blog. All right, it's a blog on the website of SOAS. Okay, so we know that it's a blog on SOAS website. Okay, and the key points, we know that we have to take out the important issues. So paper 4 is basically all about extracting the important issues, right? Okay, so now
Yes,
how are we going to structure the answer? How are we going to begin the answer? This is something very important. Now the answer begins from, let's okay, we will be working on it by starting with the language, with the use of language. So what kind of language it used here, if we are going to just start discussing that. So what kind of language is used here? We are going to start it from the very first sentence. We're going to start structuring our answers by saying that language has an important, significant, whatever synonym is important, is best and appropriate, you're going to use that. Important, if you feel this word is outdated, use significant. Is an significant or is a significant social function, right? We're going to start our sentence from the use of language. Okay, now social function, we're not going to put a full stop here. In that it can generate and maintain identification of oneself, and one's place within. So basically, what are we talking about? One's place within. We are going to begin our introduction in a proper manner by talking about the language in detail. All right, by putting the punctuation marks in a proper manner. And what else the language is for you guys, you need to just explain in the very first paragraph is going to be about the language. What is it? It's a feeling, maybe. to communicate, it's a feeling to express your ideas, it's a feeling of belonging to. All right. Language is something, it's an important factor. The people who are, devoid of this factor, who are not aware which language they are speaking, which language to use in a proper manner, and who are not having a proficiency on one language, they feel extremely, hesitant to survive in the society. It's extremely important to, have a mastery over one language in an appropriate, confident manner, right? So it's a feeling of belonging to
Yes.
for a certain social group, right? Let's suppose, this was the beginning basically. Now, when we are talking about by creating a language style, emerging social groups communicate by means of social act. Now, what we need to do is that we have to, start after explanation, after this explanation of the language use, we are going to explain about, by creating a language style, we need to talk about, emerging social groups and, we can embed like two more lines about the language, and then we need to directly move towards that how this extract begins, the extract of the text, how it begins. We are going to then shift our paragraph and say the extract begins. Acha, isme what actually the matter is that in this question we are not going to make short paragraphs. Got my point?
Yes,
We
yes.
are not going to make paragraphs. Basically, we have to write in a note form a long, piece of writing, consisting of altogether like 9 to 10 lines. Then we need
Yes,
to,
yes.
start a new paragraph with a transition word. Okay, so
Mm.
we will be starting, the same thing going on in this, and we will be starting by explaining this text, the extract. The extract begins by using a lexical field of war. It is whatever the extract is, you are going
Mm.
to explain the purpose of the extract. What is the purpose explained here? The lexical field of war. See, I have explained in just these. Oh, just a minute. I was trying to underline it and then it goes away. In this, you're going to explain the purpose first, that what this extract begins with, and then you're going to explain in detail that what more is this extract explaining, to describe how the use of and how the use of what it describes as, by a lexical field of war, to describe how the use of what it basically describes as the standard accent. So basically, we need to continuously use the punctuation marks, which are something very important to break the monotony in this paper. We are not going to
Mm.
write it in a flat writing, right, Mariam? We need to keep on using the punctuation marks. We need to keep on all right. We need to keep on creating, breaking the monotony by putting full stops, commas, inverted commas, putting important things in the inverted commas, but keeping the text in the view. So the in the very beginning, the text begins by using a lexical field of war to describe how the use of and what it describes as the standard accent of, received pronunciation. All right. So basically, we are going to also write that pronunciation became less popular than what Rose Warren described as estuary English. We are going to start like this, and then we need to keep on explaining then what Rose Warren described. Has Rose Warren described the same thing? Described as, let me just take you back towards the Rose. So you can see that in this first, lines, they are saying that the rise of multicultural London English in it, received pronunciation is under attack. So isn't it so that the extract begins by using a lexical field of war to describe how the use of it, and describes the standard extent of received pronunciation. An early threat to the standard extent of English as spoken in the South of English dates back to 1980s. You can also, mention the exact statistics which are mentioned in the first paragraph of the text. So how I'm going to go in this, that I have to go in a chronological order. Are you getting what I'm saying? I have to go in a chronological order by
Yes,
explaining the
yes.
first text in detail, by explaining and discussing. Basically, they have asked us to discuss, right, the important issues. The issue is that the received pronunciation is under attack. So whatever pronunciation, they are receiving, some people are not, agreeing with them. For some people it's a threat, for standard extent of
Mm,
English. Some people are not able to understand that, some people not perceive, some people take actual time to do a switch or transform to the specific changes. But there are continuous changes in the pronunciations. So they are saying that in multicultural London English, it actually has all comes in the form of multicultural London English from MLE. So a more recent and perhaps more potent. So we need to accept that this is an issue. So we are going to talk about this issue that Rosewarne described as Acha, I'm actually taking the name of Rosewarne. So Rosewarne is basically the person who has written this extract, and we need to relate to that person continuously, right? So we're going to use that person's name too. And after that, we will be talking about, estuary English in the 1980s. So what I did in the very first paragraph, I have talked about the very first paragraph in my own words. Now see how I'm paragraphs by saying that language has an important social function in it. It can generate and maintain identification of oneself and one's place within, and a feeling of belonging to a certain social group. Then you have to explain a little bit more about the language, like maybe it is emerging social groups communicate by means of a sociolect, and it conveys its cultural and values. Language is used to convey cultural and values, right? Then you're going to move towards this extract thing. You're going to then say
mm.
that the extract begins by using a lexical field of war. You told the purpose of the extract, then you're going to explain a little bit more about the very first paragraph to describe how the use of what it describes as the standard extent of received pronunciation. I'm using the same wordings used in the very first paragraph, but I'm just transforming the whole thing, just transforming the sentence structure.
Yes, yes.
All right, described as, and then it was the reference of estuary English, and they have also given exact statistics which were 1980. We're going to mention it, and there are some short form.
So, Miss, we just have to pick out the main issues and we just have to like paraphrase them
Exactly. We have to
and
just take
then
out the
okay,
extract the main issues, and we have to paraphrase them.
okay, ma'am.
Also, we have to, use these technical terms that the extract begins from here.
Yes, yes.
Yes, exactly. And then we have to, use the punctuation marks continuously. We have to use hyphenated sentences, and we have to use these
Okay, miss.
short forms, double E, receive pronunciation,
Mm,
RP, right? So RP maintains its position
yes,
in society. However, continuous use of transition words, right? And then we will be
yes, miss.
continuously saying that the extract states something, whatever they are
Mm,
talking about in every single paragraph, they are discussing a separate
okay,
issue. So we are going to talk on that issue. Okay, let's suppose RP maintains position study. If I'll ask you, Mariam, to just describe the second paragraph in the chat box, and if I'll ask you to just
mm,
take time, meanwhile I complete this one for the audiences who are
okay,
watching us. Meanwhile, you can also work on the second paragraph and start writing that. Start discussing the second paragraph right after this. I'm completing this one. You are
sure.
requested to do the second paragraph, which is basically this one. Emily is a sociolect of English in as much as it is a dialect. Am I sharing it?
Yes, miss.
Wait.
I can say it from WhatsApp.
Okay, this
Okay.
one. Emily is a sociolect of English in as much as it is a dialect specific to a particular social class. It is predominantly spoken by young, working class people. So now they are specifically, talking about this, group of language, talking about this language basically is to, used for the group of people, for the specific class of people, I must say, spoken by young working class people in the multicultural neighborhoods of inner city London and its suburbs. So they have defined as the place where this language has basically spoken, Emily. All right. And it's a sociolect of English, right? So now you're going to, explain this in this way. You can also relate it with the media. Okay. And how could you explain it? Just discuss it with me. So I'm going to, add some more points in it. Basically, you're
This,
going
I
to
think, the
say
main
that.
issue is going to be the
Mhm.
that the target audience is the
Mhm.
young
You will
generation or
start
something.
that, however, you will
Okay.
start, however, the extract states that Emily is not an accent, not an accent, but a
Mm.
dialect. Okay, dialect, a language which
Okay.
is spoken by, a certain class of people, which by definition uses, different, you can say, different lexicons and syntax to shape and reflect the identity of its social group. And dialect, you're going to, search about dialect, use the word of dialect. Again,
Okay.
dialect is a more in-depth clue to social identity than, the phonetic feature of accent. So as the
Mm.
extract, states that Emily is not an accent but a dialect. So we are going to talk about it, but we will be saying that Emily is used by young working class people in the multicultural neighborhoods of, inner city London and its suburbs. Thus, there are four elements which identify speakers of Emily: age, social class, cross culture, and region. Okay, we can also add
Okay.
something, regarding dialect about it. So you are going to discuss this whole issue in your own words. Now let's see what you do, and I'm going to, complete with the first one. All right. So just give a try to this.
Okay.
Emily is a sociolect of English, but use it as, dialect word again and again, and this term, the sociolect and dialect. Okay. All right. So, my dear friends, in this estuary English double E in the 1980s, what are we going to do is that we are going to, arise, beginning with the short form that received pronunciation became less popular than what Rose one described as estuary English. Right, as estuary English, less popular. Estuary English double E in the 1980s. All right, we have to mention the exact statistics. Then we're going to talk about that RP. Wait a minute. RP remains the accent of the British acrolate. So basically, it remains the, remains the accent of the British acrolate. And this is how we are going to, talk about in this question. Okay, Mariam, have you written something about that question? Have you, generated something?
Miss almost.
Okay, so you're going to, are you writing it on any note or anywhere, somewhere where you can present your screen and, discuss things, or on a notebook?
Miss, can I write it on WhatsApp?
Sure, you can write it on WhatsApp and I'll be sharing
Okay.
the screen with the students.
Miss.
Okay, so there's one more student who wants to join the class. So let me just, share the link with that student too. All right. So they are is with us.
Yes.
Acha, okay, so what I was explaining there, basically, it was paper four. Paper four already, I have discussed with you important issues. Okay, so this was the, question that read the following text, which is an extract from a blog on the website of SOAS, a college of the University of London. It was posted in 2017. Discuss what you feel are the most important issues raised in the text relating to the ways in which language can shape and reflect social identity. So you know that in this question, the most important key point is to, talk about the most important issues raised. Then we need to see that, we have to continuously relate about the language, that how language can shape and reflect social identity, right? We have to discuss. In this, the command word is discuss, right? Sometimes the command word is analyze. Sometimes, they change the command words. So we need to see the command words, and then we have to, accordingly, we have to work. So this time it is basically, discuss. So when they're saying discuss, so I have discussed, this first paragraph, and I have written it one note. I'm going to present my screen. It was about the rise of multicultural London English in it. Received pronunciation is under attack. Okay. So, continuously change of pronunciation, it is happening. You know that. An early threat to the standard extent of English as spoken in the south of England dates back to the 1980s in the form of estuary English. A more recent and perhaps more potent assault comes in the form of multicultural London English, MLE. So it comes like, this, and how are we going to explain this whole paragraph? How are we going to, discuss this whole paragraph about received pronunciation, about multicultural London English, MLE, where it is being used, and, the exact statistics in 1980s, it was spoken. So I'm going to now present my screen to you. The answer, the answer like this. We will be talking about something about the language in the very first paragraph, right? We will start our answer that language has an important social function in it, that it can generate and maintain identification of oneself and one's place within, and a feeling of belonging to. Basically, language is a feeling. Language is a, way of communication. Language is an extremely important factor through which a person's identity has been, identified, all right, of a certain social group or whatsoever it is. So in the first paragraph there, I would request you to begin it with the, use of language, talking about language, like what language is,
Miss,
what impact language has on it. Yes, yes, please.
Miss, is it possible to use the same introduction in all the questions?
In all the questions, same introduction.
In other papers
Mm,
too, like
I think it
because this is
varies.
the like
Basically, you
so
can
okay, Miss.
start it, but it varies. Sometimes, they're talking
Mm,
about to maintaining the identification of oneself. Sometimes they're not
okay,
talking
Miss.
about, social function. Sometimes they're talking about, any other function of the language. But that's varies. But okay, it goes with all of the, introductions. So let me just complete it. Then
Okay,
you can
Miss.
definitely have it. Let me just complete this one. Okay, you have sent me the answer of the second paragraph discussion as well. Okay. So basically, it's a feeling of belonging to a certain social group. And then it is going to be, you are going to talk about, that by creating a language style, let's suppose by here you can also embed that by creating a language style. I'm going to at the end share this whole response with you, which is with me already, from where I am actually, guiding you guys. By creating a language style,
Mhm.
hmm, that response will help you a lot. But you want me to write, so I did it for you. So by creating a language style, emerging social groups communicate, emerging social groups communicate, because it is all about, we need to talk about communication, language, how we convey. So by means of a social act, by means of a sociolect, right? So, and in turn, that sociolect conveys its cultural and values. So I'm going to send it and I'll also present in my screen too. Then after that, we need to, directly come towards the extract. The first paragraph of the extract, that the extract begins by using a lexical field of war. Okay, so talked about, we've actually told them, we have informed that how the extract begins, with which, topic, or with which purpose. It begins with the lexical field of, meaning, field of war. There was a war between the, accent and pronunciation, to describe how the use of, and what it describes as the standard accent of received pronunciation, RP, became less popular than what was one described as estuary English doubly in the 1980s. It is the same thing I've picked up from the first paragraph. RP became less popular than what Rosewarne described as estuary English in the 1980s. RP remains the accent of the British acrolat. And then we are going to, in detail explain that how RP received pronunciation maintains its position in society. What are the signs of that phonological modifications we're going to discuss. Okay, now let me just show you guys the exact, answer of this question, which is I'm writing here. So then guys are going to get a better idea. So did you understand till here?
Yes, miss.
We are going to, answer this question. The actual response of this question, SOAS, was language has an important social function in it, that it can generate and maintain identification of oneself. See, I told you the same thing. The extract begins by using a lexical field and it goes on. RP maintains position in society. However, there are signs it continues with some phonological modifications inherited from the rise of double E. We are going to use these short forms, in a continuous manner. We're not going to use again and again estuary English. This is the way of, using less words and more of the knowledge into it. River Thames in the southeast England media evidence has shown that younger members of the British royal family are now being heard to use features of double E, including glottal stop, intrusive rhotic. Achha, what are they saying basically? The references which they are giving us, these are all from the unit 6, which I told you to read out. That is all from the unit 6, which I told you to read out. They are, you have that book. Hello?
Which one, ma'am?
The book which you have, already shared, and I've shared with you in the group.
Ma'am, the Cambridge book?
The Cambridge book, the Cambridge A levels English
Yes,
book.
ma'am. I have.
Yes, you have that. So you
Yes,
are
ma'am.
requested to please refer to the, unit number 6 from that book. Give a reading to unit number 6, and you are going to get a complete idea of how, you are going to transform these answers in your own words from English as a global language, right? You'll get an idea.
Okay.
Okay. And I'll also send you again. This is the way we're going to start it, and then we need to move on to words, keep on using the transition words when you're beginning it. However, as the extract says, Emily is not an accent. As you have explained this, Mariam, this was the way we need to explain this. Then, with regard to age, it may be youth culture
Yes.
making Emily a fashionable, or as the extract states, cool. So the words they have used, the slangs they have used, we are going to embed them. We need to use the inverted commas, all the punctuations. And first paragraph, you are requested to please make the first paragraph longest as possible, keeping in mind that the first impression is the last
Okay, ma'am.
impression. Then the rest of the paragraphs should be shorter than that, right? Like this.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is the whole response, which I have recorded as well in this session, and I'm sure if you're going to stop it, you'll get a complete idea. So this was all, from today's session. Do you have any ambiguity now left for these type of questions? I think if you're going to go through
No,
the
miss.
unit 6 and to this,
Mm.
specimen in this, you can say a sample answer, you are going to get a complete idea.
Okay, miss.
right? This is the whole answer of the question which I've already showed you. So please give a reading to it, get an idea. Altogether 9 to 10 paragraph you have to, write.
Okay.
First thing, that 9 to 10 paragraphs. Okay. Second thing, what we need to do, each question carries 25 marks. So we have, two question, and no, those two questions you have to talk about the important issues. In both the questions, you have to talk about the important issues. Nothing difficult. Then, third thing, you have to use the transition words continuously. Got it? Then the
Yes, miss.
fourth thing is that you have to make your introduction, the first paragraph, by embedding all those, purpose, genre. Linguistically, you're going to analyze that in detail and discuss about the language. Basically, you have to embed about, information about the language in general in it. Okay, you need to make your first paragraph by your own right now,
Mm.
which you can also
Okay.
memorize. Okay, then comes, the shorter paragraphs. Then the next paragraphs are going to be the shorter paragraphs, which will help you in discussing all the paragraphs from the text. Shorter paragraph, like, you're going to pick up each paragraph from the text, pick up each paragraph from the text and discuss that. Issues पे बात करनी है, you have to discuss the issues. तो issues को each paragraph में you're going to discuss in your own words. Basically, you have to use your own words, and picking up their words, you're going to transform it. You have to, be smart,
Yes, miss.
basically, here. This paper is not at all difficult if you're going to act smart.
Mm.
Your language should be, advanced level language. Your vocabulary should be, updated one. You already know this. And rest of the all things you guys know. And the rest of my students have not joined the session. If they're going to have, another session with me, I will definitely add you both in another session again today. If, I'll be
Okay,
conducting
miss.
another session today by the end of the day, so I'll add you both too. Okay.
Sure, miss.
So
Okay.
winding up today now. I hope you guys have understood. Any questions you can ask me. We have 3 more minutes to go.
No, miss.
There.
No, thank you.
Nothing.
Miss, it would be great if you can share the recording with us.
Yeah. What?
Miss, would you
I'm going
please
to,
share the recording
yes,
with us
inshallah, I'm
after
going
this?
to
Okay.
share the recording,
Sure.
in an hour or so, probably in an hour. So I'll edit and I'll
Okay.
definitely upload it. Okay, Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.
Okay.